Uh, Welcome to Swahili Villa Online TV and also the American Swahili News. In Washington, D.C., we have Abdul Shatir, who's producing our show. And we do have the guest from the Africa, and he's going to introduce himself. And I think it's an honor to welcome him. Welcome to our show.
Shkamo, Patrick.
Habari
My name.
habari za masiku.
I am
Okay.
I am Kaweche Kaunda. I'm the sixth son and sixth born of Kenneth Kaunda's children.
Very good. Okay. Let me redirect my first question by just looking at the year between 1964 to 1991. His Excellency Kenneth David Kaunda was the president of the Zambia during that time, but before that used to be, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Northern Rhodesia. Uh, he he always, when he's in interviewing, he likes to use the word "we all God's children." Can you take us to that statement and explain to us why your dad uh, he preferred to use the word "we are all God's children"?
I think it goes back to his roots, Patrick. Those who know of his background will
Uh-huh,
know that his father,
uh-huh,
my grandfather, was a reverend and a
uh-huh,
missionary. And
uh-huh,
so my father grew up in a home that always put God first in all they
uh-huh,
did and all they
uh-huh,
thought and all they strived to be. So it's something that he grew up with. Even when his father died, he was 8 years old when his father died, but my grandmother did not lose the faith of bringing up the children in that way. So
uh-huh.
that it goes back to his childhood and growing up in a Christian home.
Very, very good. So let me ask you this question. His Excellency President Thabo Mbeki call your dad a patriotic, and also the retired president of Nigeria, Obasanjo, name him as the icon or the son of Africa. Why at this time? All these leaders, the retired presidencies who they've served during his time, they come out and uh, describe your dad as a patriotic freedom fighter, the son of Africa.
I think, Patrick, you have to look at his record in terms of his life.
Mhm,
Many thought that what he did when he was president was for show.
mhm,
But what has transpired is that he's the same person in office and outside office. What he
mhm,
believed in when he was president, he still believes in now. Like any normal human being, he
mhm.
made his mistakes here and there, but he acknowledges his mistakes. And in his memoirs, which hopefully we'll be able to publish soon with the help of, you've mentioned former President Obasanjo,
Mhm.
I think some of the decisions he did are explained in his memoirs. So basically, White Tabombeki and the others uh, refer to him that way, in that the warmth and welcome that he exuded when he was in office has not changed. He's the same person even after all these years of being out of the presidential office.
Let me take you back. Maybe I won't do you a favor or do him, His Excellency, a favor. Let me ask you a question. How's he doing today at the age of, correct me if I'm wrong, 96 years old?
He's fine. These days, he counts his age from 100. So he says, "I'm 4 from 100."
You
So
see?
he's well. We just
Okay.
did, for prudence sake, we did it for prudence sake. We did a COVID test today, all of
Mm-hmm.
us, including the staff, and
Mm-hmm.
all's good. All's good. He's well.
Oh, he's doing well. So is he enjoying his retirement, or he does not know when to stop, or or slow down? What do you what do you what is your
Um,
opinion about that?
I think he's enjoying it to some extent that he
Hmm.
feels comfortable in that any issues that might be dealt with that otherwise some years back he might have been involved in, there are people who can take care of those things now. So he's comfortable in that light.
Very
So,
good.
he's able to rest easy that whatever's transpiring around the world and around him, and in Zambia particularly, there are people that he left the country to take care of those things.
Very good. So let me take you back where we beginning our conversations in 1964. I'm not sure. I don't know how old were you during some of his interview from various university here in America. He alluded that when he took power, the British who ruled the country left Zambia with only 100 graduates and only three were medical doctors. And then he went on and say that he mobilized and organizing his cabinet, and then they were able to build a teaching medical university. And today, the Zambians or the Zambian government, they can graduate over 30,000 plus students. Can you talk a little bit about his achievement when he was the president of Zambia, besides what I've just alluded to you?
Yes, he did believe that for Africans, it was not because they didn't have the gray matter to be able to do many things. It's just that they were never given the opportunities to do so. And they embarked on a program to make sure that education was paramount in the development of the country. And then, of course, health as well. So they made sure that every district in the country had a primary school, had a secondary school to accommodate for whatever the population of people that were there, clinics to make sure that the health of the people was also properly taken care of. So they believed in themselves and that it wasn't the color of the skin that made the African people to be in a situation they were, but because opportunity was not allowed for them to do so. For example, in Zambia, as you know, we're a copper mine, a copper producing country, and we got to a stage where our copper mining company, what was then Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines, was one of the largest copper companies in the world, mining companies in the world. And it was run by Zambians from head to bottom. It was run by Zambians. And that was just to show that, look, it's possible. If you put your mind to it, we can do it. So we shouldn't be limited by the fact that somebody tells us that we can't do it. We can if we put our minds to it.
Okay, so let me take you now across the Atlantic Ocean. Ocean. I was very fascinated to hear him when he described that His Excellency Kenneth Kaunda and Jimmy Carter, they were best friends. And then during that time when he was in office, he said he spent almost 3 hours talking to Jimmy Carter, and then he explained Carter as it has all the skill set such as listening. He was asking him a lot of questions, and then he went on and he described Bill Clinton as one of a good or the good guy or a good leader when he was in Africa, and then he asked the current president either to jail your dad or to release him. To charging him or to release him. And then he gave him a lot of credit, Bill Clinton, for making that a very, what I would describe a tough statement. And then lastly, this was very funny. This is during the South Africa apartheid. He had an opportunity to come to the White House and met with late President Reagan. And then Reagan gave him only 30 minutes to listen to him. And the last thing that came out of his mouth, he said, Mr. President, he means your dad, Kenneth Kaunda, can we do a business? And then he didn't understand him when he said that we can do business. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
I was actually on that trip, although I wasn't in any official capacity.
Yes,
But
sir.
I remember coming to Washington during that trip. What you have to remember is that the old man had the advantage of having met most of the American presidents, going back all the way to John F. Kennedy,
Mhm.
and he's met them all. Each one that came into office, he met them. So he had the advantage of obviously sizing them up and comparing them in terms of each other. And I think he found in Jimmy Carter that they clicked.
Mhm.
And he never thought that Jimmy Carter seemed somebody very genuine to him, somebody he could do things with. So they just kind of had a connection with Jimmy Carter. And of course, as you may know, they're age mates as well. So that's why the closeness of Jimmy Carter comes in, because I think he was able to compare them to how he was received with the others. And even after Jimmy Carter, he still met the others. So you have to look at it in that context. As for President Reagan, my father told me about that. Uh, and we had a jolly good laugh about it. But as much as seriousness was needed in terms of tackling with what my father went there for, but we laughed about that.
So let me take these conversations in education and social welfare of the Zambian people. I know your dad fought very hard. Correct me if I'm wrong. To build the clinics, the hospitals, and also to make sure that the equal access to all the Zambians. What is your comment with respect to all of that he has done with the let me say the outcomes do you think your dad sees that he accomplished exactly what he was fighting for back in the 60s?
No, I think he felt that we still needed to do more, and those that came after him, I think, for a while, didn't put that much importance to some of the things that the old people had started with, like education. I
Mhm.
think there's no way any country is going to develop if you don't educate your population. But they kind of like took it that education was just something automatic that will happen as generations come. But my personal opinion and view is that we have a lot of generations that came behind us that are really lacking in terms of knowledge, and it's not their fault. They were not given any institutions or people to impass that knowledge onto them. So education, I think, is still key, as much
Mhm.
as everything else might be. But the educators that we have now, I think, need to be re-educated as well.
Uh, Tomorrow, we are going to inaugurate the new elected President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris, she will make a historical or a history here in America as the first African American woman to become the vice president of this very powerful nation in the world. What is your opinion about for America now? We have moved, but we had Barack Obama, and then now we have Kamala Harris. With respect now with the African continent.
I think, in respect to America, I think we need to pay more positive attention to the achievements that have happened. I mean, if you look at Camera, going back some 25 years ago, somebody said that she one day will be vice president of America. You'd have told him to go jump in the lake. So we need to focus on the positive more. There's so much focus on the negative things that are happening in America, and the rest of the world is looking. So really, we need to take pride in
Mhm.
what Kamala's done.
Mhm.
And on this note, I can say on a lighter note that Zambians are claiming a little bit of her because her grandfather worked here. Her
Wow, yeah.
grandfather worked here, uh, and she visited here, I think, for 2 years or something like that with her grandfather. So Zambians are, of course, claiming a little bit of Kamala's as hers as well, as theirs as well. But seriously, I think we need to focus more, especially for people out here in Africa. I think we need to see the positive side of what has happened and to let them know exactly what our friends and people have gone through over there to get there. It wasn't easy.
I know your dad probably maybe will or will not remember me very well, but I had an opportunity to meet him when he came here in Columbia, South Carolina, in the year 2004. And then I was the one who went to the tarmac and invited him and took him to the hotel and moving around with him. But one thing that I've learned from His Excellency or your dad is he eat very well, healthy, and that I was shocked to see him the way how he's taking care of his body. What is your let me say your comment with respect to the people healthy in Africa with respect to your dad, the way how he eats very well?
Yeah, well, the thing is that my father is a complete vegetarian. I think you know that. But it didn't happen overnight. It was actually some political incidents in his life that put him on the path to vegetarianism. But at the same time, there are those who meet me and they say, look, you should eat like your dad. And then I said, look, I think it's genetic, because if you met my uncle, his brother was a total opposite when it came to how he went, what he ate, and basically whatever vices he partook in. And he was total opposite to my dad. So I think for them, it's more genetic than anything.
Yesterday, we celebrate the Martin Luther King birthday. As you can see on the screen there, you see your dad, and we call him MLK, or Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah. What is your opinion with respect all the similarities between Kenneth Kaunda and Martin Luther King Jr.?
I think, again, this is a situation where the friendship that he built with MLK lasted through to this day, even though MLK passed away a long time ago. But the connection continued with Martin Luther King's widow at the time, Coretta Scott King. That continued. And even after she passed on, the relationship with the King family has continued. I think just about a year ago, Martin Luther King III was here. So that connection is still there with the King family. So basically, it was not a one-off meeting, and it was, okay, we got good ideas, and one goes the other way. They kind of built each other in terms of what formed my father's path to handling the struggle. I'm sure he had a lot of influence on him when the few times they did meet.
I won't do you right if I don't talk about the South African iconic leader Nelson Mandela. Let me ask you a question about Nelson Mandela and your dad. Did you have a chance to meet Nelson Mandela during his time when he was out of jail? And what do you think about Nelson Mandela in today's South Africa?
Yes, of course, I did meet Nelson Mandela on several occasions. Just when he came out of prison, if you may recall, that the first place he visited when he left prison was Zambia. And we were all there to meet him. But apart from that, before all that, I had developed a very close relationship with late Samora Machel and his family. So, of course, when Graça married him, for me, the Mandela home became even a bit more like home to me, because I was very close to, and still am close to, Mama Graça. Now, going back to South African situation today, I think they've had their trials and tribulations. One has to remember where they're coming from, you see, and it's not so easy to say to an African country, say, you got your independence 20 years ago, look what you've done. But look, the guys who oppressed us were here for 100 years and more. And the damage they did can't be undone in 10 years or 15 years. So don't judge us by what we're able to do in those 10, 15 years. Give us time to get things done right. And don't interrupt us when we're trying to get things done right.
Mr. Kaweche Kaunda, thank you again for taking your time. I know it's a little bit late there in Lusaka, Zambia, and we really appreciate it for taking your time, speaking to us, and educated us a little bit about your father, because during all this time, you were very close to him. And last word, what would you advise all the people, because in the word, because your dad used to call, we are all God's children.
Yes. Well, I can only reiterate what he has always taught us, that in all you do, think and say, put God, your creator, at the center of it all. And Patrick, if I may take this opportunity to say pole to my brothers and sisters in Tanzania, for the loss of our sister Rose Nyerere, may her soul rest in peace. So pole to the people of Tanzania and my brothers and sisters over there. Thanks, Patrick.
I appreciate it for taking your time, and we really do appreciate it. And then we'll call you again next time when we want to talk to you and learn more about Zambia. Thank you very much,
Sure.
Very much, Mr.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. You have a good day now. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.